Hello, 1, 2, 3, hello, that is about the right level.
Okay.
Hello,
Hello,
I'm Thomas Locke,
I'm Claudia Bishop.
and you're listening to Portsmouth Point. Today we're talking all about skin. Joining us to talk about skin and acne is Emily Keele. Emily has become a bit of an online sensation. She had a video that went out on Snapchat a couple of weeks ago, and it's blown up. Everyone's talking about this story. She's gained notoriety for having, quote, the worst skin that a doctor has ever seen.
And she joins us now. When did your skin first become a problem?
I always suffered with acne, even like at school. Probably from the age of about 12, I noticed that I was getting spots. But it was nothing what I would class as severe. I think at the time, I probably thought that it was worse than it was. But I suppose I always had troublesome skin. My skin was never like perfectly clear. When I was about 22, it turned into really sort of deep cystic acne that had sort of spread across my whole face. I also had it on my back. I had a little bit on my chest as well. And that's kind of when I would say that it got really bad.
When you realised that it was bad when you were in your 20s, what did you try to do? How did you seek help initially?
So I think, anyone that has spots knows that you probably have tried about 10,000 things anyway. Like just growing up, I used to try all sorts of different topical treatments, like ones that you can buy in the shops, ones that you read online. Like I think I remember putting like apple cider vinegar on my face and all sorts of things that like... but I suppose when it started getting really bad, initially I kind of took the more like holistic and natural sort of route to try and cure it because I didn't really want to take medication. So I went to see a local homeopath and I had some acupuncture as well because I thought, I don't want to sort of treat it chemically. I want to try and sort of see if I can balance whatever's going on internally. But I sort of had no luck with that.
Things online as well, I've seen like I once put coffee beans on my face because I thought it would tighten my cheekbones and everything like that. Do you think that's a big problem, like a lot of people?
Yeah,
online?
I think because it's so easy now, like on our phones, in the palm of our hand, you've got access to like everything and endless amounts of information. And like not all of that information is very helpful either. Like I remember there was this whole sort of celery juice trend that was like, you're going to be like the clearest of the clear person, and I remember having celery juice every day, like went out and bought a juicer, would buy organic celery and just drink that and like, there's just all sorts of things that probably help some people, but I just think for like the general public, it doesn't really work.
At what point did you lose hope? When did you think I might need to resort to the chemicals?
Yeah. So I had been to the GP in the past, but I hadn't really had much luck. But after trying the kind of holistic approach, and that didn't work, I kind of thought, actually, do you know what? I will just take anything now. I will just do anything that they say that is actually proven to make my skin better. So I did quite a lot of research online about a medication called Roaccutane. It's also called Accutane or isotretinoin. And that has to be prescribed by a dermatologist. So you have to get a referral from your GP or go privately to a dermatologist. And I think it was probably last year in December that I think I just got to my wit's end. My skin wasn't clearing up. So I just thought, right, I'm going to go to the doctors, going to ask to be referred to a dermatologist.
So Roaccutane, is that a pill that you
So it's a very strong medication. So it was totally my last resort. It really does affect like so much. It has so many side effects. So it really shouldn't kind of be taken like lightly. Yeah. But it is proven to have really effective result. It does work in most cases, but it does come in with a lot of side effects that are quite tough.
And I think that's a big thing as well. People who, like I know personally, when I look back, I went to the doctors over mine as well when I was a bit younger. And I look back now and I'm like, I didn't really need that. And it's all in your head as well. It like, you think about what you look like and you think about your skin, you think, oh, I really need this and this. And you really don't as much as you think you do.
No, and I think that's the reality. I think actually no one has perfect skin. And even after taking the medication, like my skin is still far from perfect, and like, but I've kind of accepted it's never going to be perfect. But that is like totally okay because perfection doesn't really exist unless you are like genetically blessed.
A lot of like editing software like Facetune and stuff is becoming very like well used. now it's not just look at the celebrities, look at their good skin. It's like, look at my friend.
Yeah.
But she's like got face tune up or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Yeah.
But I think there is a bit more of a movement of kind of more reality being shown on
definitely.
Instagram, which like definitely helped me when my skin was really bad, because I think it helped me to actually realise, oh, there's other people out there that are suffering with bad skin. It's not all this perfect world.
I think that goes with, as well, body confidence and everything. I think it all kind of ties in together. With a lot more people who you would see on Instagram and be like, oh, look at their amazing body, now posting photos of them like just sat like
in a normal like position.
You're like, I sometimes look like that.
Yeah.
So
and you kind of find comfort in that, I think, because you can actually relate to them more, because when it's all this like perfect angles and things and these bodies that look amazing, you feel quite sort of disassociated with it, I think, because you're like, oh, I don't look like that, or wow, they look amazing, why don't I look like that? When actually someone's just being real and showing their flaws, it's quite refreshing, because then you actually think, oh, I'm normal actually. Like, it's normal to be like that.
Why do you think we're seeing that now? Because even with body positivity, we're seeing artists like Lizzo really taking the crown for owning themselves and saying, I can do what I like. Why do you think that's happened with skin?
People have just generally got fed up with seeing things that they don't themselves have. People do want to see more real things. It's a year ago when I sort of started up my Instagram, beauty brands and stuff hadn't really kind of jumped on the whole like skin positivity bandwagon. But as more people have started to create accounts like that and more of them have got followers, I have kind of experienced the other end of that, where brands are almost not trying to use people, but they're kind of trying to get people to sell their products through their following, through their realness. And it's a really good movement because it's showing real things, but I also think it's a very crafty way.
Should we be cynical about that, do you think?
I have found it really difficult not to be a little bit. I think at first, as my following grew, I was kind of like excited because I was like, oh, I'm getting free stuff and people are sending me things, this is great. But actually, when you kind of realise they're just wanting you to put your stuff out there, it's almost like it's free marketing. It's you know, that's kind of the way that the world is nowadays. Is so much advertisement is done through Instagram and social media. I think people trust people that they have followed or bought into that story a lot more, because we do see everyone's like highlight reel, don't we? We see all the amazing things they're doing in their life, or what they're wearing, or what they're doing, and yeah, like, you know, everyone is just sat on the sofa, like, you know, chilling out.
Yeah, that's like 9 times out of 10 that one moment you're like out.
And you attribute the reason why your skin is good today down to Roaccutane, and how long did it take for you to get the drug? Because there was talk about a long wait.
So I went to the doctors initially. I mean, I'd been to the doctors in the past, but about Roaccutane in December 2018, so last year. And then they said that I'd have to go to the dermatologist on the NHS and I'd have to have antibiotics first, because they have a certain process that they want you to follow before they give you Roaccutane, because even for them it's a bit of a last resort drug, because there's talk of side effects of sort of like feeling suicidal, low mood.
In the press you see that it's the wonder drug, it's the cure-all skin drug. Is it as great as they claim?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, it is amazing, but there is a chance that it can come back. I think, you know, you're always going to get spots. I've had spots since being off of it. My skin isn't perfectly clear. I've got a lot of scarring as well now. But I think I've accepted, at least I don't have the painful, like, cystic acne that I had, and it's you know, much less severe than it was. It's a really tough drug to be on. It's not something that I think anyone should just go and ask their doctor for without trying anything else first.
And it's like quite surprising as well, acne causing other mental health issues as well. I think that's quite a big part of it that not really many people talk about, because they're like acne teenagers, they get it all the time. Like.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think it can come with a lot of, you know, mental health problems. I think it's something that affects your confidence, it affects your self-esteem, and it affects just like mentally. If you're conscious about your skin, you're thinking about it all the time. Every time I went to the doctor, they never once said, how are you feeling mentally? It's never something that came up in the conversation. And I think that it's a really important part. Like, they should offer more support and help for that side of things, rather than just treating your skin. It's actually, okay, what effect is that having on the person? How are they actually feeling in themselves? Like, if you address that, would that then help them feel better about themselves, and they wouldn't feel as conscious about their skin, and then they wouldn't maybe need treatment? Or
also, like, alternative like ways of treating spots, because last year I had this treatment where they went into my skin, took out all the like little sacks of spots. I don't know what you call it, and that was painful.
Yeah, it's trial and error with a lot of things, which can be really difficult because you end up spending a ton of money on things that don't necessarily work. So I think alongside doing all of that, you need to be working on how you feel about yourself in general.
If you're getting frustrated and upset and like stressed about your skin, then it's not going to help.
No, but it is totally normal to break out and have spots, and sometimes the more that you do to your skin, the worse that it gets, because you're trying to chuck all these different chemicals at it.
Because I know if you were to go down to Boots or Superdrug, you'll see quite trendy items. So there's the charcoal cream,
tea tree oil.
Should we just steer clear of that and just stick to the science?
I think a lot of companies make a hell of a lot of money on people's insecurities. So I wish that I hadn't spent so much time on all these different things. So I would say just go and spend the money going seeing a specialist and get specialist advice from the get-go.
Obviously you've done a lot of press about this, the Mail, the Sun, the Express, all taking your story.
Yeah.
You've done some Snapchat stories as well. What is your sort of personal mission? What do you hope to achieve?
Well, I never actually agreed to do anything with the Sun. I did something with the BBC ages ago, and then I did something with Barcroft, who were the company that did the Snapchat thing. The tabloids will then just take that and they will run with that, and they'll put whatever story they want with that. So that is a kind of, it's out there. The Snapchat story that I did, the headline was like, doctor had said that I had the worst acne that she'd ever seen or whatever. And that did actually happen. That wasn't just like a made up headline. I went to the doctors with my dad, sat there, she turned to my dad and went, well, she does have the worst acne that I've ever seen. And I was sat there like, I'm in the room too, like, hello, I can still hear you. And I don't think they have any consideration. I think they see it as like, okay, that's a medical issue, we can sort that with antibiotics, we can sort that with this. I think they need more training on that side of things, especially when you're dealing with people that are young, and like that sort of stuff stays with you, and you kind of, it's very difficult to take that sort of stuff on the chin.
Yeah. Especially when it's coming from a doctor.
Yeah, because
you're
think,
like,
wow, okay, it's bad.
Someone at school, but like, oh god.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is just like, people just need to be kind. I think you don't know what that person's dealing with behind the acne, behind anything else, and I think, we're too quick to judge, or we're too quick to kind of like, oh, it's fine, oh, whatever. It's actually like, no, there's a lot more going on potentially. And, how's that person feeling? Show them that you care about how they're feeling, and, and rather than just the skin and dealing with that.
Yeah. There's a lot of like ignorance towards that I've seen online.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, people saying, oh, people with acne, just like wash your face. And I'm like,
the amount of DMs that I've had, like, oh wow, just go vegan, or oh, just wash your face more, or just drink more water, change your pillowcase. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, okay, cool, Okay, great, thanks.
Didn't think about that one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Portsmouth Point. Claudia Bishop was the presenter.
Thomas Locke was the producer.
Yay! And that's a wrap.